Hey everyone, and welcome to the Quarter Year Crisis Book Tag. Somehow we are in April because I was in January and then I blinked and suddenly we're a quarter way through the year. I don't know how that happened. I'm very confused by it. I'm very much kind of in denial about the fact we're already a quarter of the way through the year because I literally blinked and time just skipped 3 months. But anyway, it means that we are a quarter of the way through the year, so it's probably time to do the Quarter Year Crisis Book Tag. So with question number 1, it is, how many books have you read so far this year? I have read 60 so far, but most of that is graphic novel, I won't lie, but it is all stuff off my TBR, so I'm pretty happy with that number to say the least. Question number 2 is, have you found a book that might be a 2024 favourite? I found 2. So the first one is Mindful of Murder, which is the latest one in the Skullduggery Pleasant universe, and I love this one, not just because it was skullduggery, but also because this one was a slasher as well, which was amazing. This is the first time I've ever read a slasher book, but I love slasher movies and all of that good stuff, and this was filled with horror references and slasher references and really did that slasher element really well, and I absolutely loved it. So naturally it was a 5-star read and it's definitely going to be one of my favourites of the year. And then there was also Keedy by Elmer Nickel, which was the prequel to A Kind of Spark, and I read this one in a day. I actually also read Mindful of Murder in a day, but I read this one in a day, and I am not a book crier. I am not a book crier in any sense of the word, but I got to the final line of this and I had tears in my eyes. I love this so much. The storyline packed a punch, the final line packed a punch even more. Just brilliant, absolutely brilliant, 5-star read. These two are definitely going to be some of my favourites of the year without doubt, and it is going to take a lot for something to top these two, to say the least. Question number 3 is, any 1-star books or least favourite books of the year so far? Scott Pilgrim. I really didn't like Scott Pilgrim, I won't lie. It was very dated. It literally opened with them basically saying Scott Pilgrim is a 23-year-old dating a 17-year-old, and then he saw the manic pixie dream girl and then just decided to go after her at the same time. So he was essentially cheating on the 17-year-old while also basically stalking this other girl. It was confusing, it was weird, I hated it, I DNF'd it. I absolutely hated it. Really wasn't for me. And the same thing goes for Strangers in Paradise. This was very dated, very sexist, very sort of stereotypical in its portrayal of women, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. Again, 1-star read. Really hated it. Question number 4 is your most read genre so far, and this is actually a very close run thing. I have read 23 fantasies this year, but 22 sci-fi, so it's actually pretty even this year so far, so that's quite interesting. But fantasy, as always, is just pipping it with 23 to 22. Question number 5 is a book that surprised you, and I'm going to say Red, White and Royal Blue because I knew I'd probably enjoy Simon vs. the Homo Sapien Agenda when I did my Cynical Fantasy Reader Tries Romance for the First Time reading vlog, which I'll leave a link to up above, because I knew that one was going to be quite like Heartstopper, and I knew I already really enjoyed Heartstopper, so I was thinking probably going to enjoy Simon vs. the Homo Sapien Agenda. And I wasn't sure about Red, White and Royal Blue because I was like, well, that's an adult contemporary romance, and also it's going to be dealing with the American political system, which I won't lie, I don't know that much about. And also I was a little bit cynical because I was like, it's a romance, how realistic is this going to be? This kind of thing, because I was like, I am very cynical when it comes to romance and everything else. And then I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was so good. Like, I nearly gave it 5 stars because I enjoyed it so much. The only reason why it didn't get 5 stars is because the American political system went completely over my head. Because I just did not quite understand what was going on there because I don't know that much about it. It's going to have to be something I do more research into at another time, this kind of thing. But I love this book so much. I was thinking I was going to be too cynical for it. I really wasn't. I absolutely fell in love with their romance. I love the characters of this one. I love the banter of it. I found it very realistic. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and it really surprised me because I was expecting to reasonably enjoy it. I wasn't expecting to love it. That's why it surprised me. I really enjoyed it, and now I'm like, I need to find more contemporary, because apparently I can really enjoy contemporary romance and I am not as cynical as I thought I was. Question number 6 is a book that came out in 2024 already that you really want to read but haven't yet. I'm going to say The Principle of Moments, because I bought this one very, very recently actually, but it came out in January and I really want to read it, so I'm hoping I'm going to get to it this year. Question number 7 is one goal that you made that you're succeeding at, and I'm going to say spending 1 day a month reading fanfic, because I've so far managed that every single month this year, and some months I've managed to spend more than 1 day reading fanfic, which is fantastic. It is not clearing my list at all because I keep on adding more to it, but at the very least I am reading stuff off the fanfic list, so it's not growing exponentially. It's still growing, but it's not growing massively, you know what I mean? I'm semi keeping on top of it, which is brilliant, which is exactly what I wanted. And finally, question number 8 is a goal that you made that you want to focus on, and I'm going to say updating my story graph, because I kind of gave up in February, which I do most years when I make this goal. I give up around February, so I really want to actually go back and update all of it and then carry on updating it, because so far not doing that well on that, and I'm also not doing that well either on updating my spreadsheet as I go along. But essentially I want to update my story graph, because the spreadsheet I'm reasonably on top of. Story graph I'm absolutely not. I'm like 2 months behind now, so I really need to get on that. And that is the end of the quarter year crisis book tag. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me a goal you are absolutely smashing this year. I'd love to know. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a target emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link as well down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics, as well as a link as well down below to my bookish Etsy store if you want to treat yourself to something bookish today, or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time everyone, bye!